Hey Vince, what's going on? How are you?
Not too much, man. I heard you're going to go do a gun show this weekend. Huh?
Well, those guys have invited me in October. It's actually a couple weeks away.
Oh, okay. At the Blue
yeah,
Chip?
Those guys, yeah, Blue Chip Casino.
So what do you do over there? Have you ever been to one before, or is this your
Never
first
been to one. No, I've never been to one. But that is such an interesting unit. And as you know, we learn a lot from that unit. You know, we
that unit with the military stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. First of all, when you see that stuff, and you can just about count and bet money on it that the guy did reenactments. They do reenactments, you know, World War II. And, you know, they play Nazis, and they play Germans, and they play English, and Americans, and war games. You know, they play war games.
Okay.
But you can rest assured that a lot of it will be reproductions.
Oh, okay.
Remember, I showed you all the reproductions. It's unbelievable how many reproductions were in that lot.
Yeah, definitely. There's
over half.
It's hard to tell, too.
Very hard to tell. You better be educated with it.
So at these gun shows, you're seeing a lot of reproductions, too, I guess.
I bet you do. And I'll bet you I'd be scared to death to buy a medal at one.
Yeah, I definitely would.
Just got to think, because those guys are sharp, Vince. I told you the little tricks they were pulling on me.
So are you gonna...
I was just trying to get the money back and make a little money, remember? And those guys are slick. They're smart guys. They know that stuff. And if you don't know it, you're in big trouble.
So are you planning to sell anything there? Are you looking to buy? Or?
No, I'm take some of my little junk, you know, along, because, I mean, there's hardly anything left, you know. But I thought it would be nice to talk about the reproductions, because those there hats are really, really good reproductions. If you've never seen them, no good.
So what tips do you have to the audience about reproductions? Just know that
keep your hands in your pocket. No. Know that they're out there. You can use a light on them. There's one way to tell, like a blue light, just like we do with the marbles or custard glass.
You mean on badges?
Yeah. No, on the military uniforms themselves.
Oh, on the costumes or the uniforms?
Yeah, you take a black light, you turn the black light on, and the thread pops out white if it's new thread.
Oh, okay, so white is bad.
White is bad, and you can tell. Like in that one, I think it's on, you've got it on right now, everything, the light doesn't show on it, but it's 1954, that Austrian one. See, but it's not World War II, and if it's not World War II, they don't want it. And the hot stuff is definitely what? Nazi. And you couldn't tell me. And those guys are slick. Like if you look at those sites on there, remember that? Those books that were big prices? They're not big. They don't pay that for them. Nobody pays that for them. That's all. I don't know why they do that. Probably you get a certain price for it. I saw Daredevil today on a computer. Daredevil tackles Hitler, the #1 issue of Daredevil. And they want $350,000 for it.
Holy cow.
So,
is that a comic book?
Comic book. So I went around the web, started looking, and I found out that it can be had for as little as $8,000, $10,000.
You think that's a reproduction?
Or something like that. No. No. I think that they ask big prices if it's rare, just like that Nazi stuff. And somehow there's a lot of that Nazi stuff, a lot more than I thought there would be. But some of the most amazing things that I saw was, and was taught during this, is that Hitler was a socialist. Did you know that? Remember we talked about that?
You know, I honestly don't study history at all. I know I should be ashamed, but
well,
I don't know anything about that stuff.
I thought I studied history. You know, I always liked history after I got out of school. And when I saw that, stop and think about it. In 1925, when he went to prison, or he was in prison before 25, but he wrote that book, 23, 24, somewhere in there, Mein Kampf.
Okay.
Okay. Then a guy named Rosenberg wrote stuff for him in the 30s. And that was all about socialism. And in 1933, he was appointed what? Head of the Socialist Party. National Socialist Party. German Workers' National Socialist Party. And not only that, stop and think about this. Everybody associates him with fascists, like Mussolini. Mussolini was. Hitler was not. Hitler was a socialist. He was the head of the Socialist Party. When that little pin we had, it was a repo. It said Hitler, head of the Socialist Party. And I saw a picture of him in one of those books with that pin on. So I started looking into it. They wrote the rules on the Socialist Party, and that's no joke. It's scary. It's just really scary to read that stuff. This guy was nuttier than a fruitcake. And they put a lot of nuts in that fruitcake, I want to tell you. He had people writing books about how to get rid of people. You know, and that Rosenberg, that guy, it's unbelievable, the stuff that they did. And then Nazi, that Z, that actually were the initials for the Socialist Party, Nazi. And the Nazi Party, it's like the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. It was a party that existed in Germany that he took over, and the people's, remember that radio we had? Well, actually we had a couple of them, but one was good. Remember the one was broken repaired?
Yeah.
I told you about it as we were going along a little bit. This one, it's been, one we had, it was called the People's Radio. Now, the People's Radio was made, he wanted everybody to have the same radio. Everybody in Germany to have the same radio. Volkswagen was the same thing, actually. Everybody has the same car. Seems a little dull to me. Hey, how you doing? Nice looking car you got. Yeah, yours is nice too. They're all the same.
Think about how easy it'd be to find a mechanic.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Everybody knows how to fix them. No shortage on parts. No.
But what if you decide to have 4 or 5 kids? He liked big families. Remember, he used to pay those people to have kids.
2-car families.
Where do you put them? You need 4 or 5 of those. But just think about it. Yeah, the Volkswagen, no doubt, was a great car. You know, and there's no doubt that Hitler was a genius in his own way.
And they had the Volkswagen bus.
But he just happened to be the nutty professor, you know, of geniuses. But and when he took over the Socialist Party in 1933, which is to me staggered my mind. It staggered my mind when I read that. I couldn't hardly believe it. Then I started looking into it, and I started reading some of that stuff that's translated on the internet. He was definitely to the left. It was crazy. Took all the guns away from everybody. Those bands that he put on the, see, he snuck those on the Jewish people. And by the way, those were reproductions that we had. And I was told very frankly about that. I didn't know what they were telling me, but it fooled some of the people that knew. And this stuff, there's just a lot of repos. You can go on the internet and you can see there's repos in there that are made just like the real ones. I mean, just like. You got to be real careful.
All right. Well, thanks for that info, Jack. And watch out for those repros when you're at the gun show.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to be buying any of it, but I will tell you one thing. It's probably some of the most interesting stuff that I've ever handled in my life, and I did get an education out of it. You know,
that's worth something right there.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Always
unbelievable. It's hard to believe. And I'll tell you something else. Those guys that deal in that stuff, they are slicker than snot in the summer. They are slick. They know their business, buddy.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jack.
You bet.
Take it easy.